top in business. This is the front page of Business Daily. KLM is demanding a pay freeze at Kenya Airways before it can inject fresh capital. Next up is Kenya on August the 8th, writes The Economist. It is the commercial, diplomatic, strategic hub of East Africa, yet its post-colonial multi-party elections held only since 1992 have been fraught. Post-election violence in 2007 left at least 1,300 dead and 700,000 displaced. The poll and the following one in 2013 are widely thought to have been flawed. This time, both Kenyans and foreigners are trying to ensure a fair contest. Procedures for ensuring cleaner elections, some using improved technology, will be on trial. If they work well, hope for fragile young democracies everywhere will be boosted. Failure, meanwhile, would be felt as a blow in Kenya and beyond. According to the IEBC, dead people don't have voter biometrics. So that should be interesting. And then we saw some recent polls. Kenyan presidential race tightens, runoff likely, pollsters say. And of course, this was the worst case scenario, really. Odinga is backed by 47% of voters, while Kenyatta is at 46%. That's Infotrack. Separate survey by Ipsos showed Kenyatta at 47, Odinga at 43. Candidate needs 50% plus one, and support from 25 of Kenya's 47 counties to declare the winner. The outcome, this is important, will depend on voters' turnout. Which side gets more people on voting day, Tom Wolfe said. If the opposition can do that, they can flip this and they can win. The race is too close to call accurately, and avoiding a second ballot has become more difficult, Gordon said. The government's mishandling of corn shortages may boost the opposition by swinging undecided voters away from Kenyatta, which is what I was writing about that time when I was writing about the food issue. Kenyatta's chance of securing a first-round victory has dramatically fallen over the last months due to a series of scandals and missteps during the campaign. It does show that Kenyatta has not had a successful campaign. In Lamu, NASA condemned Jubilee for planning to use a dusk-to-dawn curfew to depress voter turnout and rig the election. I concluded by saying voter suppression strategies in opposition strongholds surely need to be explored by the government at this juncture. My piece over the weekend is called The Age of Disruption. I was fortunate enough to be moderating an event in Nairobi last week, co-hosted by Kepsa and Umtad, where the chief guest was the chairman of Alibaba, Jack Ma. I reflected on how this visit has in many ways single-handedly reset China-Africa narrative. As I listened to Jack recount how he had raised $60,000 in 1999 to set up Alibaba in his apartment, and then reflected on the fact that today Alibaba is valued at $377 billion, I went back to Joseph Schumpeter. Schumpeter spoke of creative destruction, German Schöpferische Zerstörung, sometimes known as Schumpeter's Gale, which is a concept in economics that speaks to a process of industrial mutation that incessantly revolutionizes the economic structure from within and incessantly destroying the old one, incessantly creating a new one. And what is clear to me is that a new economy is emerging wherever I look, and the velocity and even violence of its emergence is plain breathtaking. Look at something like Netflix, which disrupted Blockbuster. Look at Amazon, which started by selling books and now sells just about everything. I also learned that 29% of UK retail sales are now transacted online, and the direction of travel remains online. When Jack Ma was asked about the infrastructure deficit in Kenya, he said this, turning to Bob Collymore, "But your internet is fast." And what he was saying was, look at this new information highway, because it is a disruption and an infrastructure all of its own. More importantly, Kenya has embraced the internet economy. Soon every Kenyan will own a smartphone. Mobile money is a Kenyan phenomenon. Sports pesa came out of nowhere. The ingredients for baking a high-velocity internet economy are all in place. Whether the rate cap law is reversed or not is now by the by. The digital disruption is upon us. Physical branches will increasingly be liabilities and no longer assets on the balance sheet. Millions of Kenyans will have bank accounts but never ever set foot in a bank branch. It is going to be increasingly all about algorithms and algorithmic banking and large-scale artificial intelligence. All these shopping malls, unless they are a compelling proposition, will soon look and feel like legacy assets. There is no reason why online sales could not reach the UK average of 29% within 24 months. Think about that. We should be pronouncing the last rites. Jack Ma created $377 billion of value out of nowhere. There will be entrepreneurs who will ride this new economy and who are going to create fabulous fortunes. This is that moment when you have to have your wits and antennae about you because the risk of becoming obsolete is sky high. Vinod Khosla said the future is not seen in the rearview mirror. He was not wrong. I did an interview with the BBC Africa Business Report about how the economy has been slowing ahead of the election. Take a listen. The Nairobi All Shares up 16.47% year to date. Fresh 2017 high. NSE 20, fresh 2017 high. That's up 16.14% year to date. And if you scroll right down Rich Wrap-Ups, you'll find a link to every single share that's listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Once again, thank you for stopping by.